Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you how I edit my street photography, black and white street photography, and we'll be giving just a touch of color to the image to give it just a bit more life. We'll be using Lightroom for this tutorial, and if you're using Camera Raw or any other editing software, your results will just be the same. So the first tool I'm going to use, everyone, I'm going to start with the transform tool. And I'm going to straighten out this wall here and a bit of the building. And for that, I'll be using the guided tool. And I'm going to start by placing it over this wall here. And I'm going to use another one for this wall in the corner. And there we've straightened out our image. And from here I'll be going down to the remove tool. And I'll be removing this sticker here or whatever it is. And I'll be using the generative AI. So I'm just going to cover it like this, and I'm going to let it render. Done a great job, and we'll be going back to the development panels. And I'm going to start off by using the color mixer. And we're going to start by taking away some color. And I'm going to start off with the hue. But first I'm going to boost just a bit of the colors that I intend to keep. And I'm going to start off with the red hue and increase it just to around 7 or 8. I'm going to minus the orange to around minus 12. Does not have to be precise. And the yellows, I'm going to decrease it all the way down. The greens I'll be adding just around 6 or 7, maybe 8 for these bushes here. And I'm going to increase the aqua all the way up. And the rest I'm going to leave on 0. And now we're going to head over to the saturation. I'm going to increase the reds, which is the color I'll be keeping, to around there. And I'm going to increase the orange just a touch to around there. All these adjustments are quite subtle. If you press on the eyeball here, you can just about see the difference. And next I'm going to reduce the yellow to minus 100. The greens minus 100 were taken away most of the colors. The blue also, the purple and the magenta will be going down around halfway to around there. Next we're going to go over to the luminance, and we'll be reducing just a touch of red to around minus 17 or 18. And I'm going to increase the orange to around plus 7 or 8. I'm going to do the same for the yellow, around there. And the rest I'm just going to leave it on 0. And here we're going to head down to the color grading, and you're going to see the amazing difference by using these color grading tools. And we're going to start off with the shadows. I'm going to increase the hue all the way to around 200s, to around there. And I'm going to increase the saturation to around 12. You can see subtle adjustments on the image. I'm going to increase the blending all the way to 100. You can see the difference. Just subtle movements of the colors. And now we're going to head over to the highlights. And I'm going to do the same with the hue, increase it over the 200 range to around there. And the saturation, I'm going to increase it to around 10. And the blending was already up to 100. I'm going to show you the difference with the eyeball. You can see the subtle difference. And here I'm going to go over to the basic panel. And here you're going to see an even bigger difference by using these sliders here. And I'm going to start from the top and work my way down all the way down to the saturation. And first I'm going to start off with the temperature, and I'm going to decrease it to around there. And the tint, I'm going to decrease it around -3. We're getting into the dark and moody black and white image. Next I'll be using the exposure, and I'll be increasing it just a touch to around 0.97, something like that. I'm going to increase the contrast, which is going to give us those dark tones, and I'm going to increase it all the way up to 100 and just dial it down a few notches. I'm going to increase the highlights. You're going to say we usually decrease the highlights, but for this tutorial we'll be going in the opposite direction. And don't worry about the sky, because we're going to get the details in the sky when we start using the masking tools. I'm going to increase the shadows just a touch to around there, but I'm going to reduce the whites all the way down. I'm going to increase the blacks to around +60s, around 60 mark to around there. And I'm going to head over to the texture, leave it on 0. I'm going to increase the clarity to around +37, 39. And the dehaze, I'm going to increase it to around +52. And we'll get in more into that dark, moody tones. And here I'm going to reduce the vibrance to around -15 or 16. And I'm going to decrease the saturation to around -23. And the next tool I'm going to use is the detail. I'm going to give it just a touch more sharpening to around 60s. I always reduce the radius, increase the detail. I hold down the Alt key and move the masking slider just to where I want the sharpening to be, which will be on the white parts, to around there. So that's the global editing, everybody. And we're going to start with the masking tools, and we're going to start off by using the landscape, like I said in the beginning of the video. I like using this landscape tool for my street photography. Bear with me, everybody, the image looks a bit shabby, but once we start using these masking tools here, you're going to see the incredible difference you can achieve by using masking. And we're going to start off by using the sky and work our way down, all the way down to artificial ground. So first we're going to start off with the sky. And now you're going to see the detail in the sky. Create mask. And the first thing I'm going to do is reduce the highlights. We already got some detail in the clouds. I'm going to reduce the exposure. And now you can see the image getting to where I want it. We have some incredible cloud coverage here, great details. I'm going to increase the whites just a touch. I'm going to try the blacks to around there, -8 or 10, and that should be okay. I'm going to head down to the texture, and I'm going to give it just a bit of texture as well. And there we've given the sky some incredible details. I'm going to try the dehaze. I'm going to increase the dehaze, not too much. My dog's barking again. I'm going to create a new mask now, guys. And I'm going to go back to the landscape tool. And the next mask we're going to use is the architecture. Create mask. And here I'm going to reduce the exposure just a touch to around there. I'm going to increase the contrast. And I'll leave the other ones, other sliders, how they are. I'm going to give the whites just a bit more to around there. I'm going to head back to create mask, and I'm going to use select landscape again. And we'll be using the vegetation now. Create mask. And here I'm going to increase the shadows so we get some more detail in those bushes or trees. And here I'm going to increase just a bit of exposure. Should be okay. And here I'm going to increase just a bit of saturation. Just to give some green to around there to the bushes or trees. Next, I'm going to head back to create mask and select landscape. The next mask we're going to use is artificial ground. Create mask, and here I'm going to reduce the exposure to around there. I'm going to give it just a touch of texture. A bit of clarity, and I'm going to increase the sharpening just a bit more. As you can see, guys, we're getting into that dark and moody much more now. And from here, I'm going to create another mask, and I'll be using the usual tools, the linear gradient, and I'm going to place it over the sky here. I'm affecting the building here, so I'm going to intersect the mask and select sky to remove the mask from the building. And here I'm going to decrease the exposure to around there. I'm going to use another mask, and it's going to be another linear gradient, and I'm going to place it over the sky again, but just on the upper part. And again, I'm going to intersect the mask and select sky. And again, I'm going to decrease the exposure to around there. I'm going to use another mask and another linear gradient But now this time, guys, for the foreground. And you can see these amazing results you get by using masking. And I'm going to reduce the exposure to around there. And the next mask I'm going to use is a radial gradient. I'm sure you're saying which mask I need to use. Well, I picture in my mind how I want the image before I start editing. And I'm going to create a vignette. Sorry, not a vignette. I'm going to place the mask in the middle here. And I'm going to increase the exposure just a touch. Around there. And I'm going to use another mask, everyone. And I'm going to create a radial gradient again. And I'm going to create a vignette now. And I think, guys, this will be the last mask we'll be using. I'm going to open it up. To around there. I'm going to place it in the center. And we always invert the vignette. And I'm going to decrease the exposure. Not too much. Should be okay. I'm going to use another radial gradient. And I'm going to place it just around here. And I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to show you another tip here, guys. If we click on the middle of the radial, I'm going to duplicate the mask. But I'm going to open it up a bit more. And I'm going to invert it. And I'm going to reduce the exposure. Just a touch. To around there. Well, we're about ready. I'm going to head out of everything here. And I'm going to use the last tool, and it's going to be the curve tool. And I'm going to increase the highlights just a touch. To around there. Don't worry about the clippings, guys. Like I said, this is dark and moody. And I'm going to increase the whites to around there. Maybe just reduce the highlights a bit more. Should be okay. And I think we're about ready with this image, guys. Well, this is the final image, guys. I hope you like it. And I hope you use this method for your street photography also. And I found it's very effective using these dark and moody tones. Well, thank you guys for watching the video. Please hit the subscribe button, a thumbs up, and leave any comments below. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.